Hey everyone, happy Equinox. I don't know if this will be up by then, but I hope that it is. I'll try my best. It is Saturn's day, so I probably should. I just wanted to wish everyone well. I wanted to let you know that you are safe and you are loved and you are protected. I want you to know that Mother Nature loves you, your friends love you, you have family that loves you. Blood, soul, spirit, however. The trees love you, the birds love you, I love you. And you know, it's interesting, this Uranus and Taurus, right? It's about 2-year mark coming up here. And that was a big deal for a lot of people. And I might choose some cards per house, maybe your sign. We'll see, but I wanted to mention this first. Hi. I worked in the yard today. What did you do? I had to face some fears today. What did you do? I laughed today. What did you do? Okay, so I was just talking to my buddy, actually, that lives, he's one of the first friends, actually, that I ever met through Opal Oracle. And he's a wonderful reader, too. It's called Intuitive Perceptions is his channel. He's not working on it so much because he's been working more with his family, which is beautiful, in my opinion. But let me see here. Today, he had mentioned, we were talking about, well, gardening and things like that, and although he lives in the city, he just realized that he has this huge plot where his mom was going to do flowers or what have you, and it already has a watering system and everything, but it's just sitting there. And he's like, one of them was like 50 feet long, and so, anyway, I guess the point is that you never really know what you have till you start looking around, you know, is part of this. And also that there's always support there or someone that you can reach out to that will help, you know, for you to find what you need to find, to be able to know what you need to know, to do what you need to do. Okay? And he had mentioned, in addition, that today was 29, Saturn was at 29 degrees. So 29, Saturn and Capricorn at 29 degrees. So let's read what this says. Just a minute. It says, a dark and lonely pool, overhung by wooded banks. 29 degrees Capricorn. This is an index of a nature that will be given to contemplation and philosophical musings. Fun. In the silence and solitude of their own soul, they shall enter into an intimate communion with nature and will be blessed with an understanding of her more obscure laws, and their mind will be pervaded by a peace which none will be able to disturb. The affections will be deeply rooted in all that appertains to the simpler and more natural life, and the poetical and visionary nature will hold upon eternal verities. As for themselves, they shall walk by the side of their mother nature, and their soul will be lifted to a place of rest. Isn't that beautiful? And again, I guess this is why I mentioned Uranus and Taurus. You know, Uranus is big shifts and revolutions of change. you know, and Taurus is, of course, love and peace and things of this nature, but it also very much is about food and what we eat, what we can taste, what we can smell, right? All of these things. So we do need to revolutionize that perspective. In my opinion, not by scientifically growing things in laboratories, which we probably already do, even when it says organic, but if you don't actually physically see where it grows, right? But more so where, and I guess we've talked about this quite a bit, is like, what did, whoever you are and however old you are, it's your great-grandmother, it's your great-grandfather, you know? At least we need to know that. Like, for instance, I was thinking about this today. During World War I, which was a huge crisis, right? That was a big deal. That was during the Armenian genocide, which didn't take precedent, obviously. But the point is that people were actually forced in a way. It was like, I remember finding, how do I explain it? I remember finding this old sort of propaganda flyer from the government from around the World War I time, you know, early 20th century, etc. And it was basically like, if you don't can your own food, if you don't grow your own food and preserve it and be responsible about that, then you're not patriotic. Which is a ridiculous thing to say, because obviously that's not the fucking point of it. But even then, we were like, okay, it's a crisis, and this is obviously before the Great Depression, right? It was preparing. It was like, yeah, take care of yourself. Know how to take care of yourself. And obviously, even at that point, people were already kind of forgetting or putting it aside, because they'd go to town to get their flour or their cornmeal or whatever it was. So maybe what it really is like that Aries reading, our great-great-great-grandmother and grandfather, what were they doing? How did they live? Because however, Taurus to me is a beautifully simple sign, you know? It's like back to basics kind of mentality and feeling, and it's beautiful, you know? It's Venusian, and it's in tune with nature, and that is what we need, and that what will sustain us. We don't need a grocery store to survive. We don't need food stamps to eat. You know what I mean? What we need is a place to grow things, which most people have, even if their space is very small. And even if for some reason you had zero space, I would say that that's probably not, excuse me, an appropriate place to live at this point, right? It wouldn't be productive. That's one of the reasons I moved out of New York City. I was just like, if they didn't bring in all the food and all the water and the beer and the Coke and whatever, it's like, well, where would people, I mean, lamb's quarter grows there. But with all the vehicles going by, it kind of, depletes the nutrients some. So, point is that there's always some way to go about getting the answer that you need. Again, if you can't find it on your own, I know there are people in your circles that, near or far, that can help you find the answers so that you can do what you need to do. If you don't live around a bunch of people that you don't trust, why would you live there? You know what I mean? Also, why would you believe, say for instance, like, well, I don't want to get into it too much because, although we are just sort of having a chat, but I think most people know that our governments and world leaders, these are all quotations, at least the leader aspect, because I don't think anybody leads anybody. I think we all lead ourselves wherever we want to go, and we all have the choice to choose. And I certainly am not going to be led around by somebody else, especially somebody that I don't even know. Because if you were in my tribe, then we would be walking next to one another, with one another, right? Not being led by the chain on your neck. Hey, Turkey Vulture. So, hey, buddy. I love you. Sky's really pretty today. Yeah, so I just wanted to tell you that. We have the internet. While you have it, use the information, as you can. We talked about this about a year and a year and a half ago, maybe. Don't just read something on the internet really quick. If it's something that's important that you're learning, write it down. It's also an exercise when you're reading something and you make note of it, even if you're kind of unconsciously just taking note, it puts it in a different space. It also gives you a reference later without electricity. You know what I mean? Because in truth, we don't even need electricity to survive. You know what I mean? We don't. We already have all that. The energy can come from many different sources. Should we read one more? What would we like to? Okay. This is 24 degrees of Cancer. You ready? A strong castle on a high rock, and upon the battlements of the castle a flag with a crown upon it is seen extended in the wind. It denotes a strong, masterly character of great endurance, stability, and daring, ambitious of honor and capable of withstanding his enemies while achieving greatness for himself. It is a degree of mastery. I'll take that because you know what? I actually made a reading earlier this morning after my best bud left with his daughter to go up north. And I pray for their safety. And I know St. Jude will look over them. But the point is that we talked about that. And I guess if you didn't see it, it's we are the master. There are only two masters. We over ourselves. Us. Maybe God sets some orchestra. He's the orchestrator, if you will. The creator is the orchestrator. But we, beyond that, that is the only one that we need to answer to. I'm trying to remember this beautiful poem I just read last night. It was like, how did it go? When you do not walk with me, and you walk with everyone, you are without me. Hi, bird. And when you do walk with me and walk with no one, you are with everyone. Something along these lines. And I took it as the creator. I took it as love. I took it as nature, because unless we recognize something greater than ourselves, right, we cannot be humbled. We cannot even really know the power of nature and what that has to offer, you know, and how giving and loving unconditionally that is. It's a pileated woodpecker. They're hard to see. They like to hide. They're kind of shy. That's cool it showed up though. They're the ones with the red head. Yeah. Wow, that's powerful. Want to read it again? Was it 24 degrees Cancer? Hold on. Yes, a strong castle on a high rock, and upon the battlements of the castle, a flag with a crown crown upon it is seen extended in the wind. Let's make it present tense. You are a strong, masterly character of great endurance, stability, and daring. Ambitious you are of honor and capable of withstanding your enemies, all the while achieving greatness for yourself.